A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts. So, he loses touch with reality and lives in a world of illusions. By thoughts, I mean specifically chatter in the skull, perpetual and compulsive repetition of words, of reckoning and calculating. I'm not saying that thinking is bad. Like everything else, it's useful in moderation. A good servant, but a bad master. And all so-called civilized peoples have increasingly become crazy and self-destructive because through excessive thinking they have lost touch with reality. That's to say, they confuse science with the real world.
So before I do a loadout breakdown of the LightFighter rig, I kind of want to talk about the intent and usage of this rig and when and where I'd use it and why I kind of invested in it, and just kind of ramble for a little bit. I'd highly recommend reading the Nixieworks blog post where he kind of explains this rig in general, so it'd clear up anything, you know, I don't say, or maybe he says it better, and I'd read that before considering buying it. Just that way you won't be sending him a bunch of messages, because he pretty much explains everything in detail in that blog. But so the rig itself is made, for at least what he says and the way I can kind of see it, is a light infantry styled platform to help you perform multi-day foot patrols. So 1 to 3 days, whatever, you're on foot, varying terrain, and a lot of the weight is made to be put on your hips instead of, you know, like a chest rig being right here, or a backpack. It's meant to distribute all of your stuff, all of your fighting load, your comms, medical, hydration, sustainment, sleep stuff. All that is riding on your hips and using a suspension shoulder system. And yeah, 100%, that's what it's about. Sorry if I'm kind of iffy. It's like 100-some degrees outside right now. But yeah, that is its main usage. Yeah. So besides the obvious, hey, this is a belt rig that's meant to hold all your stuff and perform a foot patrol, dismounted, whirl, you know, patrol, whatever. What are some other scenarios that I could see as being useful, and kind of break it down from the big picture to maybe some smaller things to consider? Well, one of the big things I've always thought about is, and Brass Facts is another guy who's talked about this, is if any type of event happened and you're living in the, like, I live pretty far out in the country. I'm not going to say it's remote or anything, but it's pretty out here. If something ever went down, whether it be a natural event, you know, civil unrest, whatever, it would take a while for stuff to reach me. And, you know, most people out here, they're trying to, you know, grow some of their own food, maybe be self-reliant, whatever. But no matter what, people and problems always seem to travel and move. And so one of the big things I think would be important is being able to gather intel away from where you live in some type of event like that. And I guess another way to put it is, I think the best security is distance. Or what's the best safety measure? Distance. So kind of like if you think you're just going to be sitting there guarding, and I do think you should have people guarding, you know, wherever you live. And that's something you should probably prioritize first, because you can't defend that, you know, it's over. But if a bad group of people, or even just desperate people, if they've already reached your front door, you're already at a disadvantage. Versus, let's say, hey, I'm on a foot patrol way out miles away from where I live, and then I spot, let's say, a bunch of bad people. Well, now I have time, distance, uh, yeah, just time and distance to think about, hey, what do I want to do in this scenario? Maybe I can communicate back home. In worst case scenario, let's say they're like really bad dudes, whatever worst case scenario you want to think about, I'm buying my loved ones time and my community time to relocate, move, gather defense, whatever. But none of that happens if you can't survive miles away from home base or whatever. And so that kind of gets into the whole sustainment realm that, hey, you're not worried about the high speed, one round reloads or plate care and stuff like that. You're talking about, I need to, first off, I need to survive my environment. I know a lot of dudes talk about, they're worried about people and this and that and thermals and all of that. And I 100% agree. People are probably the most dangerous thing you will encounter. But another thing is, if I can't survive my environment, whether that be, like today it's really hot outside. If I don't bring enough water, if I don't use shade well, I don't watch how I'm regulating heat properly, if I can't control all of that, I'm going to die before I get shot or whatever. Or I can't move and communicate. Or in the wintertime, if I freeze to death, if I starve to death, whatever the case may be, if I can't survive my environment first, then none of that other stuff matters. So that is a very high thing that's important to me. And then obviously after that, I need to be able to, if I do encounter bad people, I need to be able to carry ammo. I need to be able to carry communications. Sadly, civilians don't really have access to explosives and other stuff like that, at least not legally. Yeah, so other stuff like that. So those are my main two priorities: is surviving my environment and surviving people in a multi-day, I guess, journey. Where that be a static, like, hey, I'm just trying to move out somewhere and keep an eye on like a major highway, or it's a roving patrol where I'm doing like a big circle. And so that's probably one of the main uses I can see of this rig. Now, another good thing about this rig is, and probably the biggest reason besides that obvious thing, is I needed some type of rig that performed well in the summertime. And mainly because, like, I think everyone should probably buy a chest rig as their first rig just because of how versatile it is. And armor is cool and stuff like that. But for me, majority of the year, besides, I would probably say like 9 months out of the year, it's relatively warm and humid. And there are obviously some places it's hotter or more humid, but it is pretty warm most of the time. And when it's, like right now in the summertime, it is really, really hot. And so I needed a better rig to help me get through that, besides all of the other, benefits of foot patrolling and stuff like that. And so the first thing I thought about was kind of the ALICE system, the web gear, how they use it in Vietnam. My AO is not really super Vietnam-esque, but it's pretty close. But yeah, I wanted something like that, and that's another thing the LightFighter rig is good for is if you're operating in a hot, humid environment, it puts a lot of weight around your hips, so you get a lot of ventilation. You won't overheat as fast, and yeah, that's another good reason to have the LightFighter rig. And I actually kind of, before I even bought it, I was like, what would be my jungle kit? And yeah, this is what I went with. Now, another reason why I think the LightFighter rig would probably be a good setup is belt kit has been around for a very long time. From Vietnam to World War I, all the way, there's always been belt kit somewhere. And it is just a very effective way of carrying a lot of stuff, but still being agile. So if you need to carry just a crap ton of ammo, crap ton of water, your sustainment stuff, whatever, you can carry a decent amount of stuff, but still be fast and agile. Because in every other system, let's say a chest rig and a backpack, you're still kind of, you can only carry so much and be fast at the same time. And I think a belt kit for the average infantryman, or whatever word, Minuteman you want to use, if you want to carry like the bleeding edge amount of crap and be, asset to your community, but still be fast enough to move, I would say belt kit's probably a good thing to invest in whatever season, you know, besides hot weather. So now that I've kind of talked about all those scenarios, and there's probably a million other ones that I haven't even thought about yet, I'm going to go ahead and do a breakdown. Another thing I like about this rig compared to other rigs such as Alice and even Molly systems is I couldn't stand how they flopped around so much when you ran. However, since this butt pack is hard built into it, there's almost no flop or sag when you run around, even when you load it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and say that this might not be a totally good setup for the current season, just because right now this is kind of set up for a late spring, early summer wet season loadout. And honestly, right now we're kind of entering the dry season, so some of this stuff might not be applicable. But I feel like actually showing what I can stuff in here and then referencing maybe things that are the same size will help you out. So I guess the first thing I'm going to talk about before I hop into this butt pack is my overall loadout. So right now, my main loadout is either 8 mags in these double mag pouches, or 6 mags, and then one of these double mag pouches I can actually stuff a Glock 19 with a weapon light on it. So depending on situation or whatnot, whether I'm working with just another buddy, by myself, multiple dudes, handgun, some people are like, no, I don't need it. Some people are like, I would like to have it. You know, there's differing opinions. I don't know, that's up to you. Figure out if you need it or not, and that's something I'm still having to figure out. But I think 8 mags is a pretty good loadout. 6 mags is a pretty good loadout too. I could carry more, carry less. Maybe one of these days I'll upgrade these pouches to the jungle mag pouches. I could hold 3, and then I probably would run a handgun, but for now that's what I have, 8 mags. I have this basic radio pouch. I think it's made by Condor. I know it's kind of trash, but I keep a Baofeng radio and a Ziploc bag of batteries, you know, for my weapon light, the ham radio itself, and then ear pro if I'm wearing any, and then also headlamp stuff. On the other side, I have this kind of 100-round saw pouch, and that is mainly my like mini sustainment pouch. So if I don't want to dig into the butt pack or anything else, I can actually access this while I'm walking, whatever. And so the first thing is I have a bag full of a couple protein bars, electrolyte things like Pedialyte, some caffeine, some water purification tabs, more Gatorade stuff. Basically just things I can snack on and keep me going. I also have a Sawyer mini filter with the bag itself. This is probably my main way to purify water, but like I said, I also carry purification tabs, so yeah, there's that. And then I also keep a spare pair of socks. I actually carry one in here and one in the bag, and then the ones I'm wearing, so I got a couple pairs of socks, so that way if I have to cross water or whatever, and just it's good hygiene to change your socks out. And yeah, highly recommend carrying at least another pair of socks. Alright, let me show you that. Alright, and now on the cool thing about the LightFighter rig is that there's actually built-in canteen pouches on the side. So right now I'm currently running just the canteens I have cycled out, but I have one kind of OG canteen, this 32-ounce canteen. And then on the other side I actually have a metal Nalgene with a nesting cup. Now honestly, the main reason I'm actually running this system is just because I have another one of these, but it started leaking. So right now it's got one metal, one Nalgene. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. I would actually love to get some of the Nalgene Oasis canteens, which are like this size, but they're lighter and you can see through them. In the winter time, I'd probably run 2 of these metal ones, but yeah, I can carry a little bit of water, 2 liters of water on me if I don't want to run a Camelback. Which honestly, right now it's so hot that I will still run a Camelback even though I can carry water on this, just because I don't know. I like having water on me, and I can literally like just chug one of these right now, just how hot it is and stuff. So yeah. Okay, so now I've kind of went through what's on the wings, the water. Also want to mention on the shoulder straps, I have my comms routed through here. I honestly should probably move it to this side, but I don't feel like undoing it. So I got my push to talk that I could then also route to my earpiece if I want to. And then I have a tourniquet just kind of taped on there. Alright, so going into the butt pack. So the cool thing about this is on the top and on the bottom, there's enough room for you to strap something like a poncho, and I actually have my poncho on the bottom. But yeah, there's room right here. And so you have this drawstring kind of pouch that's supposedly like water resistant. And like I said, this is probably not the best setup for right now, but here's a good illustration. On the very top, I actually have a pretty beefy 3x3 or 10x10 tarp that I have my kind of pre-deploy, fast deploy ridge line. So I can set up this pretty big tarp pretty fast, and also have some tent stakes with it. It's pretty lightweight even though it's bulky, and it compresses pretty well. But yeah, that's a size reference for, yeah. And mainly my two sleep systems is either a hammock and a tarp, or it's going to be my kind of snug pack stratosphere bivvy thing and just a ground pad. And honestly, since I have a poncho, I could kind of get away with this tarp and just run like another ground sheet plus my poncho and then whatever I want to sleep in. And now after that is my Cry nightcap with my night vision and the little Wilcox piece. Kind of running a helmet not only for multi-day stuff is bulky, but also right now it's so freaking hot. I'm not gonna, like, even a bump helmet gets pretty hot, and I can shove this in the butt pack. So I have the Cry nightcap, I have some batteries in this pouch, and then my PVS 14 wrapped up in a balaclava. Well, actually, there's a little mount for it. I have some of these, right now I'm trying out some of these SOS survival brake things. I ripped open the Mylar thing, and right now I just have it in here. Basically, whatever ultralight hiking food you want to bring, just bring whatever, how long you're going to be out there, bring that much food out there, maybe a little bit more, because you'll be burning through. Mainly something that's high caloric, easy to make, and like condensed or whatever. I have kind of my poop kit, some toilet paper, some baby wipes, some shower wipes. Honestly, if you want to go really ultralight, just use toilet paper and water. Field kit, I have a ferro rod, some backup fire stuff, a headlamp, batteries, and some bug repellent. I got another pair of socks, some foot powder, toothpaste, toothbrush, nail clippers, floss, some boo-boo stuff in here in case I do get some type of minor infection or whatever, and some pliers. Notice a little trend too is you should waterproof anything in your bag. These are probably not the best example, but just Ziploc bag will be like bare minimum. Now right now the thing I've been loving is this DD hammock. Super light. It's like their ultra lightweight hammock thing that's pre-deploy, like it's already got carabiners on it. It's got a bug net. It's pretty small. The only thing is, if whether or not you can actually set up a hammock in a non-permissive environment, I don't really know. Like I was saying with the tarp thing, it's really comfortable, but honestly, my little stratosphere snug pack thing would probably be more low profile and stealthier, if that makes sense. But I could always probably throw this on a ground sheet and sleep on it. But yeah. And then I have a couple mountain house meals. My kind of I guess system is during the day and in the morning in the summertime, you don't want to eat anything heavy because it's going to just slow you down. But at dinner time or whenever you go to sleep, whatever time frame that is, you can actually eat your bigger meal. So the way I look at it is, and I had this set up for more of a 2-day patrol. I could make 3 if I just decide not to eat, but I'm kind of fat. I like eating. But these will be my dinner meals, which honestly, these are big enough I could split with another dude if I want to, or separate them into 4 big meals. But yeah. And then I have some more, these are just the regular Propel. They don't have any sugar, but yeah, just more Gatorade, whatever, Propel, Pedialyte, and then my spoon. And then this kind of weird looking pouch is my weapon repair or cleaning kit. I have a metal rod, like a cleaning rod or whatever, in case I get a stuck casing, I can actually get that out. I have some lube in there, some other stuff, boar snake. Yeah, there's that. So that's everything I keep in there. There's a little bit more room in there that I'd probably just put more food in, honestly. But yeah, there's a decent amount of capacity in this rig. And I might be experimenting in the future, you know, when it gets cooler outside, you know, what are some different options, you know, like a bivvy and like maybe a swagman roll or whatever. But yeah, this is my current setup for this rig. So one of the cool things about the LightFighter rig that I also want to mention is you can still wear armor with this setup if you wanted to. Just have to make sure it's slick armor and don't have anything on the sides, on the back, and just keep it slick. And you can run a shingle as long as it sits in this kind of sweet spot right here. But honestly, I don't even need this just because I have all of my ammo on my sides. Yeah, and just make sure the straps don't interfere with anything. But you could still run armor if you really wanted to. Now another thing I wanted to mention is, even though the LightFighter rig is meant to hold all of your ammo on these little side wings, so you can still carry, you know, a decent amount of ammo if you got intel that there's large enemy force, I don't know, freaking Red Dawn or whatever, and you just need to go full Mac V SOG and just carry a dumb amount of ammo because you think you're just going to need to up whatever ammo count you have. In this current setup, you know, I have 6 or 8 on the side, depending on if I run a handgun, and then I could even run this rig and I could carry another 6 or either 3 or 6 in these dope mag pouches, and then I'd probably drop the radio since I already got comms. But I don't know, I can carry like a smoke grenade, a frag grenade, 2 smokes, 2 frags. I could just up the just ammo count and supplement my gear, that's why I would treat that LightFighter rig as that's my main deal, and anything else is I'm just supplementing it, but I don't really need. Now, going along with the whole supplementing route, like I said, the LightFighter rig is supposed to be a one-stop shop. Just, you need to be able to carry everything you need, and I would agree you could carry everything you need, but there are some things that would either make your life a little bit more comfortable, maybe up your versatility, or be more of an asset in certain ways. But I would like, there'd be things that are supplementing it, but if I have to drop it or whatever, or if I can't use it, I'm not gonna just die. So one of the first things I've thought about is mainly water capacity. I know a lot of the dudes, they're okay with running just 2 Nalgene's or 2 canteens and just filtering, and I'm not gonna disagree with them. Maybe I just suck and I can't do it as well, but there's a lot of considerations and times where I would want to be able to carry a tad bit more water, especially in the camelback while I'm traveling. You know, in case I need to set up a hide and maybe I can't move because there's a large enemy presence. I need to just sit somewhere, and movement is actually going to be more of an issue than, yeah, if I just need to not be able to move as much. Maybe I gotta go somewhere where there's not as much water. Water is one of the main things that I have to work around. So one of the first things I would do to supplement, like I said, I don't need it, but if I want to supplement, is I would add a small assault pack. Don't ask me the brand of this, it's just a random Chinesium one I got. I want to get one of the Velocity Systems ones that look pretty cool, but you can still, depending on how much you load this rig, let me crank this down. I can still carry, you know, certain items that would be too bulky or weird or whatever to fit in the LightFighter. So in this setup, I got my e-tool strapped to the back. I got mainly just inside the compartment, I have a MSR dromedary bag, so I could carry up to 4 liters. But honestly, my thought is I can just fill it halfway, you know, so that way I'll have my 2 canteens, 2 liters worth of Camelback. I could fill it more, I could fill it less. I could use a dromedary bag to collect water. I could use my canteens to just top off the Camelback and then just keep filtering with the canteens. And like I said, with an e-tool, having an e-tool might be nice if you need to dig a fighting position, cat hole, whatever. Get rid of if you're gonna do the whole leave no trace or whatever. But it'd be hard to carry that in the butt pack or whatever. So that is one option. But honestly, that's all I'd really need in the summer, kind of springtime, the hot weather stuff, because I really don't need to carry that much more sustainment. Besides, if I was wanting to stretch it more, I could, you know, use Camelback to carry more water, obviously, but I could shove more food in it, so I could turn a like 2-day patrol into like a week patrol if I had to, just using a small salt pack. But in the winter time, I'm gonna have to experiment a little bit, running certain small backpacks in case I wanted to run more food or maybe more warming layers or something like that. So here's another one of my little like day bag packs, but it's still pretty short. As long as it's short enough, you know, it's not like super long, you can still run a decent selections of packs. I'm actually really interested in the mini Alice or small Alice. Honestly, a medium Alice would probably work without the pack frame, but there's a small Alice I feel like would sit perfectly on that little shelf back there. I know the Nixieworks guy, he did a thing of a British Bergen 20 liter, something like that would work. And honestly, I have no problem seeing this being able to carry like some more warming layers or food or something like that if I needed to. But like I said, if push came to shove and maybe I gotta break contact or whatever, I will immediately ditch this and just go straight, you know, to running around with this, because I can survive with just a LightFighter, and that's all it's supposed to be, is something that's all you need, and then you're just supplementing from there. Closing, I think the Nixieworks LightFighter Rig is an amazing piece of kit that is, while both made for a very niche purpose, it is pretty adaptable and versatile and can work in a bunch of different scenarios. I think if you got the coin, you got everything else squared away like armor and whatever, and you're trying to upgrade your chest rig game or your backpack game, maybe you have some old web gear that just flops around a lot and you're trying to upgrade from that to something nicer, I think the LightFighter would be a great piece to invest in. Or if you're just like me and you're just trying to find a better way to get through the summer months, it's a good thing to invest in, especially considering its main competitor is a Velocity Systems jungle rig or jungle kit, which I would absolutely love to try it, but it's actually a little bit more expensive. It'd probably flop around a little bit more, and also it has crazy wait times. I know the guy that makes this kit he's a very small company. I'm pretty sure it's just one dude cranking these out. They're custom, they're handmade, and yeah. And for me, and for my purpose, I already had some random pouches laying around, and I could customize it a little bit. And there's not really anything else like this on the market besides you totally building it out yourself. But I'd also like to note, my opinion could be different from yours. I don't have all the answers. This is just my thoughts on it, and the way I set up is the way I like to set it up, and it might change, it might this or that. So I hope y'all like this video. Please like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And also, I'll be putting out a list on my Instagram. If you want a kind of a steady just list of everything I packed out and whatnot, check out my Instagram. I hope y'all like this video. Hope it helped you out in whatever way. Stay safe out there, and God bless.